biggest regret. I should have got it on the road much quicker. So it's like the paint's 11 years old now. It was to have a normal everyday road car, but in the end, I've probably done too much to it, as it got it too shiny, too clean underneath. I'm Steve Smith from Nankang Tyres, and this is a 62 Chevy Nova, two-door. I just like, old school cars from, 50s cars all the way up to probably 80s and maybe 90s cars. I'm not really into American even now, apart from the rust part of things. I buy cars, there's no rust in them at all. So I like to build something you're building the car, not fighting rust and renovation. So that's why I have a few American stuff rather than British cars. It was this 62 to 65 Nova that I was always interested in. And then I just saw one for sale at a lad called Ray's Classics in America. I'd bought a pickup off him before and he described the car to me, and I just thought it seemed what it was what I was after, at the right price as well, but it was in bits, like properly in bits. Well, I'd pre-booked it in to be sprayed, so I knew it was coming in, I think it's 2010. So I got to a spray paint shop, Shorade in Cannock, really nice top cars to do. And the day I got it, I just put it back on the trailer and sent it down to be sprayed, and that was, I was going to just paint it. I bought the car in complete, which was like a rolling shell really, no interior, no glass or anything, but all the parts were there. The intention was then to just get it back from the spray paint, put the windows in, seats, set of wheels, and I was away, and it was be finished by mid-2011, yeah. So I gets the car back home, thought it looked really nice. I did put the set of wheels on it. I then went to a show, again a hot rod show in Billing, I think it was, in Northampton. And somebody suggested that the suspension on it's not very good on the front, so to buy this Heights front end clip. Nobody in the UK was selling them, and then I spoke to Ray at Ray's Classics, and I says, can you get a clip for me and put it in the back of a vehicle? And he says, yeah, you can, if you buy the vehicle. So I said, okay, I'll buy the vehicle, and that started it. So I'll put this clip in the back and a few other bits I needed to buy, and got it back over here. So then I stripped the front end out, took the front off the car completely to put this front clip on. So that made it, doing that, I took the engine out. So putting the engine back in again, I was about to, and then somebody offered me an LM7 engine, an LS version. So I decided to put that in. So I put it onto the 3-speed gearbox that it was, the old engine was fitted to. It took me 6 months to do that, maybe longer. At another show, somebody said, I've got a great gearbox for that car, a 6-speed manual. And I thought, what a good idea. So I started doing that. Put the gearbox in, wouldn't fit because the tunnel was too big. So got the grinder out, started cutting the inside of the car apart. Got the engine in, decided then to put it on air suspension. So we activated the suspension to get the air suspension on the front, and then wanted to do something with the rear axle. So I got in touch with Hauser Racing, who built a new axle, and we put it on they did it for me and put it on a 4-link. And then I decided I wanted to put bigger wheels on it than I'd got on, so we needed to tub the back axle, so we cut the inner wheel arches out to get the bigger wheels and tyres on the back. And it's on a 4-link, and I've got an air suspension all around there. So that's briefly how it started, but that probably lasted till maybe 2017. All this took me, we're doing little projects in between. I only work on the car when I felt like it, and if something got in the way and got on my nerves, I'd just stop and carry on with another project really. Then just before COVID, I'd met Dave from Retro Barn Company, who I wanted him to put the fuel lines on, radiators, hoses, and just generally just get the car over the finishing line. He then wanted to paint some of it, which he did a really nice job on some things, and he suggested we painted the bulkhead. I said, yeah, that's a good idea. So we took the engine out and gearbox to paint the bulkhead. Then we painted the suspension as well, so it's really nicely painted underneath. And as I taken the engine out, it was all running. He was building a custom exhaust for it. When they took the engine out, I happened to go to a company in Birmingham called Dyno Torque, and I just told him what we were doing. I was going to get, on the last leg, and I mentioned about the engine, and he just says, "Oh, I've got just the engine for you," and he got an LS1 all aluminium one, so it is a better engine, and he said, "How about, putting that in there?" And I thought, what a good idea. So we didn't put the LM engine back in. We put this new LS1 engine in with the 6-speed box, and then Dave at Restro then, fitted that in with an Emerald ECU, which wasn't as easy as we all thought it would be. So it took some getting going, back running again. And Dave got the car over the finish line, and to how we are with it today. So the engine fitted is a Chevy LS1. It's all aluminium engine. It's ultra modern, fuel injected, ECU ran, fly-by-wire accelerator with a 6-speed manual gearbox to it. So again, a bit like a modern take. 6-speed box for me is out of a modern car rather than the old 3, 4 or 5-speed that it would have had in. So the interior is out of an Audi A5. I bought it off eBay probably in 2011 when I was getting this car straight, and then I fitted it all in, made it all fit, and then again I've taken it out and just had somebody retrim to make it less Audi looking. But again, I wanted that modern look inside with the headrest and that, and I wanted to be in a nice driving position, comfortable. I've tried to set it up as best I can with all the pedals and everything to drive like a modern car. I want the car to be a modern looking car with an old-fashioned shape, but drive like a modern car. So I've got better suspension, better steering, a nicer engine, quicker engine. I've got a digital dash on there on that Dakota. So I want it like a modern car, but with a classic look. And in my eyes, that's what I've achieved. So all the parts, the new bumpers, the new grille, new lights, everything, you can just buy everything off the shelf. It's just the importing of it, the art, because the bumper's quite a big part. But again, I had a lot of help from Ray, from Ray's Classics. I'd buy a bumper and say, maybe have to buy the car sometimes, or I'd find a buyer for him, and we'd put the parts in the car, and when they come over, I can, I got the parts arrived. Wheel and tyre wise, I've got these AC wheels. They're 8x17 fronts, 10x19 rears, and obviously, some quality Nankang tyres on there. 215/40/17 Nankang front and 275/30/19 rears, NS20. The mirrors are complete aftermarket. I have fitted this style onto a few of my vehicles. It's like a bit of a trademark that I do on all of them. And it makes it's a modern mirror on an old car. And I like that take on it, but they don't really work. The position that they're in, I can't really see out of them, so they are useless in that way, but I do like the look of them. The steering wheel and the steering column are all completely aftermarket. I think I did it. I think the make of the steering column. Billet's speciality is the steering wheel. Again, I just chose that wheel because I like the look of it. It's smaller than the original one. I think I've got as modern as I can to drive as nice as I can. The windscreen wipers are still from 1960 and don't clear the screen. I could probably put single blades on there, but they're black and I just like the look of the Classic. It's not really a very good bad weather car because when it rains, it doesn't clear the screen like a modern car does. It cleans the screen still like a 1960s car does. I think my favourite part of the car is the colour we painted it. It's a bit of a neutral type of colours, nothing in your face, but it just shows all the body lines of the car. So the more I look at it, the more lines you see, and I like how the paint reflects, to show and give it that classic, the classic look. It was to have a car, just a normal everyday road car, but in the end, I've probably done too much to it, as it got it too shiny, too clean underneath to take to shows, and I did that. And so I got it on the road 2 years ago. The first year I'd just get intention to take it to shows, when we're doing Nankang tyre shows, to show the tyres off. And last year I said I'm going to use it a lot, and I haven't. And this year I said I'm going to use it a lot, and I still haven't, although we did the driver collection at Sheffield the weekend, and I drove it there. I have driven it to 2 shows in Northampton and back, but every time I've come back I've then cleaned it and make sure, but this is it isn't going to be cleaned underneath, it is now going to be used as a normal everyday car to get some pleasure out of it, driving pleasure out of it. The biggest achievement really with the car is we went to the Mod Nats and it got in the top 3 in the best of Britain.
So in third of the best in Britain, it goes to Steve Smith with a 62 Chevy Nova. Pardon me.
I'm not really a trophy sort of person with a car. I've got no intentions of building a car to win a trophy. I build it for myself. The biggest pleasure I get out if just somebody sees your car and just, oh wow, what a nice car that is. And I just think, yeah, you know, and they appreciate the car, and that gives me my biggest thrill. But my biggest achievement really to get the car on the road and do it how I wanted to do it. It isn't quite exactly as I'd got envisaged in my mind. I've still got a few bits and pieces I'd like to do to the car and change it, and it probably will evolve over the next few years. But yeah, just to get it on the road really, it was the car I'd always wanted to get on the road. I am slightly disappointed on how it does drive, because you're driving more and more modern cars. As 10 years has passed since I started, newer cars have drive better in 10 years. The biggest difficulties with the build has been myself really, just being lazy. One little part that I haven't got, I'd stop working on it, but then I'd end up start working on another project, and that 2-month project I'm working on, it'd last a year or 18 months. Then I'd jump back on the Nova, do a bit, and the same thing would happen again. So my biggest regret, I should have got it on the road much quicker. So it's like the paint's 11 years old now, so that says a lot. Yeah. But I never covered it up with anything. So I've got it in a garage where there's a double space, and I have been grinding and welding next to it. So it was really covered in dust, and just once in a while I would wipe the dust off. But then once I did get on the road, we've flatted all the paint back off again and had it, you know, polished it all up. James at AutoFinnesse had it down at his academy for a week, and they really did a real good job, you know, getting it like glass. I get a bit of a strange reaction on shows because I like hot rod cars, but it's not really. I've done as much work as you would do in a hot rod in the same way they do it, but the style I've done it, I don't think it quite fits into a hot rod scene. It's not like a retro car. The younger people don't really know what it looked like originally. They just see it's an American car. So it doesn't really fit in any gap. Yeah, it doesn't fit in any category of car really. It's just, and that's what I want. I want it's my category. It's you know, I've invented this is my invention. The people who know what it is, I don't think they'd have done it like I've done it. Like the wheels, some people you either love the wheels or you hate the wheels. I'm on the fence with them myself. I put wheels on everything, and it is what I wanted on, but I'm still on the fence with, and I got a lot of people that don't like them, and I got people who do like them. So again, reaction both ways. The worst part is on the motorway really, when you're on the wrong side of the road. My mirrors aren't the best, and they come up to the side of you, and you lose them from the interior mirror, and they've come up to the side of the car taking photographs or just generally looking at the car, and it's quite intimidates. You've got to keep your wits about you all the time. That's the only time you can't really relax properly on the motorway. But if you keep in the outside lane and keep the speed up, which it does, so you've got no issues then. Yeah, I've on the engine wise, it's only doing 1,000 revs at 60 miles an hour in 6 gear. So it's really nice to cruise in on the motorway. It's really nice. Suspension wise, I'm still trying to work on it and get it working better. So we've got an air suspension on airlift, and I've got it on the height sensor, so it's 3H at the moment. The shockers are all adjustable, so just getting it set up to drive the best I possibly can, and that's just going to be doing more and more miles in it, which I haven't done. I've trialled it to too many places, but no. So we've been to Northampton twice. I've been to Sheffield. So now it is going to be driven like a car should be used.